72-year-old United States Senator Ben Cardin has recognized after a 6-decade run in Maryland politics that the time has come for him to face the final curtain. On Monday afternoon, Cardin issued the statement saying, "I've run my last election." Cary, before we examine the endless list of Democrats near and far that are running to succeed him, what will we remember the most about Ben Cardin, the man?
I don't know. I liken Ben Cardin to Jimmy Stewart going to Washington, in that TV show. Ben has always been a decent, moral, hometown kind of a guy. I actually, met him on several occasions. One was when I was running for county council at the metro station. And he comes out and puts his hand out there and smiles. And he says, just get your message out there and, the public will hear you. And you'll succeed as a civic activist or a politician. I just have fond memories of Ben Cardin.
Okay, Mark, it's pretty amazing that Senator Cardin began serving in the House of Delegates in 1967. Now, I'm old. I was in 10th grade in 1967. That's rather insane when you think about it.
Well, I don't want to age you, but actually he was in his early 20s at the time when he was first elected, and he was also the youngest speaker in the history of Maryland when he was in the House of Delegates. It's fascinating when politicians who were once the exemplars of youth become old, and suddenly the tables are turned.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now let's talk about those who want to replace him. Cary, as noted in the Baltimore Sun, U.S. Senate vacancies are rare. And the possibility of replacing Cardin after his retirement has drawn interest from a host of potentials contenders. Locally, we have Congressmen David Trone and Jamie Raskin. Prince George's County, Angela Alsobrook is also thinking about it. And then there's the ever irrepressible Montgomery County Council member, Will Jawando. What do you think about these guys? And we haven't even mentioned the Baltimore guys that want to run for this.
Now, this is the tough one. I mean, Will Jawando has to make some serious decisions shortly. 10% tax increase, especially when house assessments have gone up, 14% or whatever they have. We should be getting a decrease, not an increase. And not to mention, we've had a loss of economic growth for the past 20 years. Will's got to face all that and then run for a seat, a Senate seat. I don't know. Jamie Raskin, he's great. He always has been, and especially his work as a congressman. I think it's going to shake up our county government. You're going to see people chasing after that position. Then you've got Jamie Raskin's seat, Mr. Tyrone's seat. You may see other council members trying to seek those seats. 2024 is going to be interesting.
Well, it's going to be great. It's great for political observers like ourselves to see. And as I said, this is not going to be uncontested. I mean, David Trone and Jamie Raskin, if they're both in the race, have some name recognition. But the Baltimore people are not going to want to give up this seat easily. I mean, we already have Chris Van Hollen from Montgomery County as the other United States Senator. I'm sure County Executive Olszewski is probably interested in running as well. So it's going to be a fun race to watch and a fun race to consider. But nobody has more money than David Trone to throw at this race. So a word to the wise, know what you're getting into before you get in the race. So, Mark, immediate attention, of course, was focused on former Republican Governor Larry Hogan as to whether he was going to throw his hat in the ring, but apparently he wasn't interested. So, where do Republicans turn to now? I mean, is there a logical candidate that will emerge to a challenge for this? This is a very important seat with the margins in the Senate.
I think it more likely is to be a candidate that's probably not part of the political sort of pecking order of the existing pack. I mean, you mentioned the fact that Governor Hogan took his name out. I think he's not somebody who's suited to be one of 100 and would rather be the chief executive. And I think that's reflects his kind of his instincts. But I would not be surprised if somebody who's sort of not an office holder ends up taking a shot at this among the Republicans. And I think it was helpful for Hogan to make the announcement early on rather than to go through kind of a protracted romance period where perhaps the discussions got frozen. Let me go back to what Cary said, which is this is going to create a domino of office seekers across the state, particularly for Republicans. I think District 6, which has been extremely competitive, obviously even with Trone's money, was very, very close. And is so I think is already recognized to be in play without an incumbent. So I would look to see activity there, and it remains to be seen as some of the other other seats around. I think that's the only one that's now up for grabs because somebody has to give it up to run for.
Well, Trone is declared. I mean, we're
he has declared, and and as a result, I think that just elevates District 6 as a competitive race for the.
Yeah, I mean, the Baltimore papers are speculating about Ruppersberger and others as possible contenders running for this. So there's going to be a real scramble for this seat.
Ruppersberger would surprise me. I think he actually is more likely a candidate for retirement, but we'll see.
Well, but I mean, they're certainly talking about other well-known Democrats around Baltimore. I mean, the Baltimore papers, Baltimore Sun doesn't even include Montgomery County and Prince George's County in its coverage. I mean, this is, when you go on their website, they've got Anne Arundel, they've got Howard, they got everybody else but us. They don't care about us. So they don't want to give this up easily. So Cary, the one thing I will say about Will Juando's candidacy, he's going to be able to raise some money. I mean, he's from the Obama tree of political aspirations, and I think he's going to be able to raise national money to fund his campaign. So it'll be interesting to see where the Democratic Party shakes out on this. I'll give you the last word.
I don't know. He's got a tough challenge. He's got some superstars he's going to be running against. And like I said, he's got to deal with his history, his legislative history, and the decisions that he's made. And this year's not a good year for him. If he's got to justify it, it's a tough year to be justifying.
Well, I will tell you, I don't think I hate saying this about your Democratic Party. I don't think they care about justification. I think they care about positions. And if you're a progressive, you're going to get their support regardless. And that's the one drawback I think Trone has to his candidacy.
Tell me who the teachers union supports.
Right, exactly.